Hi everybody, we're going to do a Q&A today. We're going to talk about how should a trouser fit? This is a very complicated question. There's no single right answer. And I think actually the underlying question that's probably more important to answer is what sort of silhouette are you trying to achieve with your clothing? And if you can decide that, then you can decide what are appropriate trousers for you. So we're going to illustrate this today by showing you a bunch of the products that we've made over the years. And we'll talk through kind of the differences, not just in details, but in silhouette. You know, how does the upper part of your outfit match with the bottom part of your outfit in terms of silhouette? We'll start with this. This is the Armoury's Sport Chino. So this is a cotton chino. It's machine washable. It's meant to be casual, but you can wear it with tailored clothing as well. And in terms of the silhouette, we have something that's medium in the rise. So it's sitting above Jan's hip bones, but it's also just beneath his belly button. So it's not a high-rise trouser where it's sitting at the belly button. It's just a little bit beneath that. It's a regular fit, so there's still space in the thigh, but it has a nice taper down. And Jan, if you could put on that sport jacket, and I'm wearing a pair of sport chinos too. I mean, I love these things, so they tend to get a lot of wear on me. If you put it on with a sport jacket, you can kind of see like the silhouette from top to bottom flows nicely. There's no kind of abrupt transition from say like a kind of medium, regular fit jacket to a very slim fit trouser. You know, like that abrupt transition is really what you're trying to avoid. Okay, next we're going to move on to the Armoury's collaboration with Nigel Caborn, the Army Chino. So Jan's now in the Army Chinos, and I think you can notice a pretty significant change in the silhouette. Although the rise is the same, like it is a lot fuller through the leg from top to bottom. And on top of that, there's also a lot of little casual details as well. So things like the double stitch on the side of the trouser, or even just like the thicker, more spaced out stitching throughout the trouser. It makes it a lot more coherent when you're putting it together in a casual look. So for instance, like with a t-shirt and the workwear shirt that Jan's wearing, or Jan, why don't you pop on the Real McCoy's leather jacket as well. And you see, like aesthetically, it's just much more coherent this way. So there you go, like when you have a fuller trouser, it looks great in a casual context like this. We're going to move on to tailored trousers next. So this is the Model A trouser. This is kind of our basic entry-level tailored trouser, and we sell it on its own or we sell it as part of a suit. It is medium to high rise, as in it's a little bit further above the hip bone than say something like the Sport Chino. It sits much closer to the belly button, like my belly button is there. You know, a little tip for when you buy trousers, like the waist is important on a tailored trouser, but actually the hips are even more important. So it's actually better to make sure you've purchased trousers based on the fit in the hips, because it's much easier to adjust, like to alter a waistband than it is to alter this section of a trouser. Okay. Silhouette wise, as you can see, like slight taper, but still like a good amount of space through the back of the leg. And again, it's for comfort, you know, it's like, it's much easier to move this way. And when you see the matching jacket, you know, as you might know, like our philosophy has always been to have clothing that's not too trim, right? It should have a shape, but it shouldn't be constricting or uncomfortable. So this is a standard 48 jacket, matched with a standard 48 pant. And yes, I have space in the body, but it still has a good shape. And if you look from the side, like the jacket goes into the trouser, you know, in a very graceful way. Like there's no abrupt change in the way the silhouette looks. It's just a good match. All right, next we'll look at some other models. And this is the Model B trouser. So the Model B is a single pleat trouser versus the Model A being a flat front trouser. In terms of like the fit of it, from the knee on down, it's the same. So the leg opening is the same at about 19.5 centimeters for a size 48 trouser. One thing that I think is very, very noticeable is the pleat. Having the pleat means the crease can come all the way up to here. And having that long line, I think really helps to make it slimming and elongates the leg portion, the lower half of your body. That's for me like one of the big benefits of wearing a pleated trouser, is that like you can just get that vertical line coming a little bit higher than on a flat front. The other thing is that with a pleated trouser, because the pleat is always going to come forward a little bit in this area, it gives you a little bit more comfort, you know, around the hips and the upper thigh, and yet it will also look even more tapered. despite the fact that the bottom's the same, because it has come out here a little bit more, visually it looks like it's gone inwards more as you go down the trouser. Now let's have a look at it with the jacket. So our Model B trousers, when we're selling them with our suits, they tend to go with our double-breasted jackets as well. There's not really any particular reason why a double-breasted has to be a single pleat trouser. It's just really just commercial reasons. Like, we've always sold our flat front trousers better than our single pleat trousers, so we kind of reserve the pleated trouser for people who are a little bit more experienced with tailoring. And there you go. As you can see, that silhouette, from top to bottom feels very coherent. Again, there's none of that like abrupt change in the size of your body as you go from top to bottom. So now we've moved on to a pair of pants that are very slim. And this is like slim fit the way some brands out there like to promote the look, but for us at the Armoury, like, we just can't. Like, this is a little too much. I have risked my life to squeeze into these trousers, and I wanted you to see and compare these to what we showed you before, where we had kind of moderate regular fit trousers with a medium rise and a decently spacious leg. Like, this has no space in it at all. Like, I worry about my sperm count in these trousers, and there's no space behind the thigh, so like even just moving is really not very comfortable. I would hate to imagine myself sitting in these. And okay, maybe, let's say you thought these trousers were okay. What if you had to think about what you're gonna pair with these trousers like further up, right? So let's have a look at, I'm normally a size 48, and these are probably like a 44 trouser. Let's look at it with a jacket on. And you can see, like, especially from the side, how incongruous that looks. Like, my legs are like chopstick thin, whereas my body is a much more normal sort of proportion, especially, given what I normally wear. Okay, so let's try now something that matches the proportion of these trousers on me. Okay, so this is a size 44, so arguably this is the same size of jacket as trouser, and it's just so slim and uncomfortable. Like, I have no give, and I don't feel comfortable. I can't move very well. If you are wearing your clothes like this, like, give larger clothes a second thought. I think you might really appreciate the extra comfort it gives you. And I think that, whereas maybe if I'm standing perfectly still in just the right position, it looks pretty good. But the minute I start moving, the minute I just start to live life, I will feel so constricted and so stuck in this sausage casing of an outfit. So there you go, that's our view at the Armoury of very slim fit trousers. And now let's move on to something on the other side of the spectrum. Okay, this is the last pair of trousers we're going to look at. So this is a pair of Pomela bespoke trousers, and these were made for me back in, I think, 2018. And I was a little heavier back then, so I was closer to a size 50, whereas now I'm a size 48. I took in the waist. So the waist itself fits just right. I really like the way the waist fits, but because I didn't do any other alterations, the hips are probably a little bit baggier than they need to be. Like, you can kind of see it back here. This could probably come a little bit closer to the butt as it goes down. But you know what? Like, they still look good. And they're very comfortable. And so my advice to anybody who's trying to figure out just kind of a standard trouser silhouette is, if you can, err a little bit on the side of larger rather than on smaller. I think that you'll be more comfortable, you will act and feel more naturally as a result. I think that in summary, the things you should be looking for are making sure the hips fit right. All right, so is it close in the hips? Is it, fitting in the butt, like trim but not tight in the butt, like not giving you a wedgie, not riding in? Where's the waist sitting? Like, be conscious of, is the trouser designed to be sitting on the hip bones of the waist, on the belly button? Generally, I do find that trousers that just feel right are the ones that are sitting just above the hip bone and on or just beneath the belly button. Be conscious of the fork of the trouser. Like, is it too short or is it too long? Obviously, you want it to be short enough, but not too short for obvious reasons. And the leg opening at the bottom. The leg opening is important. Like, a lot of people tend to go a little bit overboard in terms of the leg opening. Typically for me, I do about 19.5 centimeters, and then as a customer gets larger, you might want to have a slightly larger leg opening than that. But when you go too slim, it becomes, as we've mentioned before, too abrupt to change in the silhouette, and that's something that you want to try and avoid, especially if you have a little bit of a paunch or you're a little bit big in the seat as well. So there you go, our little kind of video on how trousers should fit and some things that you should look for. If you have any comments about how you think trousers fit, because obviously we haven't covered every single base and there are many other views on this, please feel free to leave a comment, and thanks for watching.